his wool in my drink. I knew it. I love iced coffee. Too. Hello and welcome back to the Autumn Acorn Knits. It's been a while. I would say 2 months probably since my last podcast. This is a crafting journal about knitting, crocheting, yarn dyeing, sometimes woodworking, and anything crafty that I've been up to. Welcome. This is episode 52. I'm coming to you from my studio in our log cabin in the woods of New Hampshire, where I live with my husband Joe and our black cat Meryl. I'm drinking iced coffee today because it's going to be a hot one. Today I have 7 finished objects to share with you. It's going to be a long one. I hope you have something cold or warm to drink and your favorite knitting or crocheting project, and I hope that you're ready to begin. Let's get started. We'll begin with a hat. So this is a new design called the Norwegian Fur Hat. There's a close-up. It has this lovely lace pattern, simple brim, and it's made out of the most gorgeous Gotland wool in this natural light gray shade. This is a collaboration with a lovely Vermont farm. Kim is the owner of the farm, and I have visited the farm several times. I took a wool felting course there once with my sister and had the best time. But yeah, Kim's farm is called Vermont Grandview Farm, and she has her own sheep and other animals, and she has a B&B in her historic farmhouse, and she's just a lovely, lovely woman with a lot of knowledge on wool. And if you have never knit with Gotland wool, it is quite a different experience. It's not a soft and squishy yarn like merino. It's slightly toothy, but it doesn't bother me at all. And it just feels like a very luxurious, very sturdy yarn that I doubt will pill or even show signs of wear. I feel like this is the type of hat that I'm going to have for the rest of my life. So yeah, anyway, this hat has already been test knit. Oh, I should show you the top, the T-creases. This hat has already been test knit, and there were absolutely 0 issues with the pattern, which, fingers crossed, that's the first time that's ever happened. But I was really happy about that, and thank you to the lovely ladies who test knit this hat for me. Some of you made more than one, so I can try it on, but it is hot, so bear with me. There you go. I'm not sure if this is helping or not, but I will get proper pictures once this pattern is released. It will probably be in August or September. So stay tuned for the Norwegian Fur Hat. Oh, let me show you also the other yarn that Kim sent me. I'll be right back. Kim was very generous when she sent me this yarn. So she sent two skeins of that light gray, and then 2 skeins of this medium natural gray. Here is her tag, which I love, and each of these hanks, oh, this is DK weight, I should have mentioned that, 80% Gotland, 20% silk. So the one that I am working on, the one that I already knit up was knit from a sheep named Jagger. Here's the other side of the card. And then this darker gray was knit by using the wool from a sheep named Marta. So I love that. It's very personal. Hopefully you can see that. So I am hoping and planning to perhaps design some fingerless gloves with the rest of this wool. So stay tuned for that. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about this. There's the front, there's the back. This is a cropped top. Simple. Let's see how pretty this wool is, and I'll tell you all about it. Apologize for the squeaky chair. This is a very old rocking chair. By the way, I'm now keeping all of my designs and all of the projects I'm working on. This is not a design, but all in these wonderful, sturdy plastic Velcro envelopes that I was gifted by Store Smart, which is a wonderful, I've talked about them many times in the past episodes. They are a women-owned company in Rochester, New York. And I have been collaborating with them for a couple of years now, where they will send me new products that I can use related to obviously my knitting business, and then I share them with you and let you know my thoughts on them. So the item that they sent me first were these large plastic envelopes. Like I said, these are the most sturdy. This is the most sturdy plastic I have ever used. It is never going to tear, or it's just fantastic. And they sent me 2 sizes. Let me show you the other size. So here is the large and here is the smaller. So you could see that, yeah, the smaller one is about an 8.5 by 11, and I'm not sure what the other size is, maybe 12 by 14, or I don't know. But they are fantastic. The smaller size are not as sturdy, so they're a little more floppy. They're still really wonderful, but these are really sturdy, these large ones. So I've been using them for everything. Back to the pattern. So this is a free pattern. Let me try to find the front. Called the Stargirl Bralette. And I'll make sure all of the information is in the show notes for you. This is by Uma Knits, and she is uma.knits on Instagram. And it's sort of a recipe where you can use any yarn or needle size that works for the pattern. And so I used this yarn that I've had for so long, by Green Mountain Spinnery. It's called Mountain Mohair. And I bought this yarn, oh gosh, it had to be back in 2009 probably, maybe 2010. But this is all I have left, and it's a gorgeous, gorgeous wool. It is 70% wool, 30% yearling mohair, 2 ounces, 140 yards. And I would call this a worsted to Aran weight, probably a worsted, I guess. So yeah, and I used these awful needles because it's the only pair I had in the size that I needed. So they were not the best. But yeah, I think that it turned out really cute. And it fits well, except that, of course, mine is not nearly as cropped. And I added crochet all along the border here and all along the back as well. And I-cord straps, and it looks super cute under overalls. That's my first finished project. Next, I'd like to talk about a new design called the Front Porch Shawl. Here it is. It has an interesting shape, which I'll show you. This was knit out of yarn that was gifted to me by my daughter for my birthday from Holly Press Fibers. And it uses a sock yarn and mohair. So we have this interesting shape at the bottom on both sides so that you can tie it in the front. You can wear it many ways. So one way is just to wear the mohair section in the back, and then you've got this part in the front that you can tie into a really cute bow, or you could just wear it like a regular scarf and have, you know, the little ends in the front. Boy, I didn't do a very good job on that. You get the idea. It's just too hot to wear wool right now. This was really, really fun to knit. You can see this section has these pretty cables. It's more like a lace. You don't use any cable needles at all. Yes, then there's this fun border on the side, and I think it's really beautiful. I'm really happy with how it turned out. So this pattern, like I said, it's called the Front Porch Shawl, and it is being test knit right now. So we'll see how this one turns out and when it will be released. But I have, I believe it's 6 new patterns coming out this fall. So we have a lot going on right now. So that's the Front Porch Shawl. Let's see, that was knit using US 4 needles. And like I said, I used 1 full skein of sock yarn for this main color here, and then I used 2 mini skeins for this copper color and this purple color, and then I used a couple of 50-gram skeins of mohair silk rather, in lace weight. Let's move on to my next design. I feel like I'm really speeding along here. So here we have Ta-da! Oh, it looks really pretty on camera. I love to see things on camera for the first time. Here's the sleeve. Here's the back. And this is a Swoncho. This is called, I've named it Story of Trees. And oh boy, do I dare. Alright, I'm going to try to put this on. Be right back. So this is how it looks on. So like I said, it's a Swoncho, so the yoke comes way down before you separate for the sleeves, so it's a cozy hug. There's the back. Oh, it's so warm and cozy. Now I'm going to take it off because it's so hot. So this Swoncho was knit using DK weight yarn by the Yarn and Us. And so the Yarn and Us reached out to me. Cappy and Brian are the owners of that company, and Cappy asked if I'd be interested in designing something using her yarn, her DK weight yarn. And I said, of course. So she sent me over a bunch of skeins, and this is all I have left of those skeins. So this was the main color right here. And this is called Butter Rum. And here's a full skein of, the other contrast color was Desert Rose. So beautiful. Cappy is such a talented dyer. Here is her tag. And this was an 85 Superwash Merino, 15% nylon. Cappy sent over 4 of this main color, which was Butter Rum, 2 of the rose, which I only used half of one. I thought that I'd be using more of that contrast color. And then there's one other contrast color, which is called Creme de Petche, which I don't have any left, but it's this peachy, creamy color. It might be hard to pick up on the camera, but it is a gorgeous, as the name implies, peach, pale peach color, which is so pretty. And I do think it's showing up as a cream on camera. But anyway, this is a very easy yoke, top-down, one-piece garment, and it is going to be test knit. Right now it's with the tech editor, and then it will be test knit beginning on July 30th and will end on August 30th, and then hopefully I will be releasing the Story of Trees. So I hope that you're excited about it as much as I am. I really love the way the sleeves came out. There's just something so, I don't know, fairy tale-ish about them that I love. And I've got to tell you, this is only my, I want to say, second color work knitting that I've ever done. I've tried other things and I just haven't succeeded, so I was pretty proud of myself when this came out good. And at first when I did it though, all of this yoke was sort of ripply, but it blocked out beautifully. But you know, even still, during this knitting, I found that color work, it just really slows me down. It's it takes me about twice as long to knit something in color work as it would, you know, regular. So, but the end result is amazing, and that's what's going to keep me doing color work, I guess. So yeah, this was a super fun project, and I'm so thankful to Cappy and Brian from the Yarn and Us for asking to collaborate. Cappy's going to be making up kits, so if you want to get the same exact colors, or I'm sure she'll be making up other colors as well. So, oh, and if you're interested in test knitting this, I do still need some of the smaller sizes, extra small, and then the larger sizes. I want to say 3X and 4X. I still have openings for. So if you'd like to test knit, it's not too late. We don't begin until July 31st. So please email me, and I will leave all that information in the show notes. So, story of trees. Let's move on to a new Teeden project. Or two. There might be two. So, as I have mentioned many times in the past, I am obsessed with new Teeden wool. If you don't know about new Teeden wool, it's a Swedish wool that is made by Carolyn and Knut, who own a mill in Sweden, and they have been making this unspun wool for several years now. It's pretty exclusive, hard to get your hands on. You do have to be a Patreon member first to get the first, call when she opens up the new, her shop update. If you are in her Patreon, if you're a Patreon subscriber, then you get the first notice and the first opportunity to order her beautiful yarns. And she limits her Patreon membership so that she can be sure to meet the needs of everyone. She doesn't want to have just thousands of people join and then have them be disappointed. But she is opening up some new spots in August. So if you've been dying to get your hands on some, because it's tricky, if you don't get in on her first shop update, it sells out really fast. So anyway, I've been wanting to use up my stash, because that will give me an excuse to order more colors. I was gifted this beautiful pale pink color, and I want to say I was gifted 3 plates, and I just treasured it, and then I decided, okay, it's time. So I knit up this. Well, it started out as a pullover, and if you follow me on Instagram, you will know that I did my first ever steeking, which was very spontaneous. But let's start with the details of this sweater. So, and this is how much I have left. Such a pretty pale pink. And I combined it with undyed mohair, silk mohair, which, by the way, new Teeden can be a little scratchy. If you throw in a strand of mohair, boy, does that take away most of that scratchiness. It's quite remarkable. So anyway, I knit this up on US 7 needles. I actually used my red lace Chow Goose for this project, as well as some double points. Here they are. I love these. They have the best cable ever. And so I just kind of made this up. I can try it on for you. I just made this up. And I made a, like I said, a pullover. And when I put it on, I thought, oh gosh, it's just too big. I don't know, it just didn't look good. I said, but I have a feeling that it would look really pretty as a cardigan. And I think that would solve the problem of it being so big. I'll try to show you a little bit. Here's the back. It's got a split hem. The back is longer. I carried the raglan increases all the way down both sides, which I think looks really pretty. I added on a little detail here, just a little French knot, another one here, and then the steek. So I hadn't planned to steek this, like I said, so it didn't have any steeking rows or anything built in, but I thought, how hard can it be, so I just, here's the inside, and I think it looks really nice. I crocheted a button band, which was the first time I've ever crocheted, and this, by the way, was not blocked, so it's a little wonky, but I really loved the way the crochet button band turned out. It's a lot more sturdy and neater, and I will always probably do that from now on. Here's the button side, and these are some buttons that I do sell in my shop. They're just cute little wooden buttons with trees etched on them, and they're the perfect, really light button for this project. I basically did a running stitch up the center, so I knew where to cut, and it was even. And then once I finished cutting up the center, I just folded over the edge and did a single crochet to tack it down. You don't see it on this side, obviously. And then I did that with a different color wool. And then I did the same for the other side. You know, folded it in, tacked it down so that none of those stitches were going to go anywhere, and they are not going anywhere. And then I went in with a crochet hook and the same color yarn and just did a single crochet button band, and it came out so good. Oh, I also went around the edge of the neckline and crocheted, and I think that looks a lot neater. It's a nice, neat finish. And I plan to do that, I think, a lot more often too. The sleeves are just straight, and then they, you know, come down into a cuff. But this cardigan, I've been putting it on anytime I'm chilly. It's just like putting on a warm hug. It is so light and cozy. It weighs practically nothing. It's just, it's an experience, and knitting with the one strand of Newteden with one strand of mohair helped so much with the breakage. It just barely broke. Of course, you have to manipulate the yarn a little differently when you're working with unspun and not pull on it roughly. You have to be gentle. Oh, I ordered some Plotulopi from Iceland, first time. Cannot wait. I think I ordered, it's so funny, I cannot remember, but I think I ordered white, and then I want to say dark gray. They were out of all the colors, a lot of the colors I wanted, but so excited to get that. They were having a sale. So that's the first Newteden sweater. Now the second one has a lot more longer of a story. So I decided that, because I will be writing a pattern up for this particular version, but I thought, well, there's so many people that are not into steeking, and they're not ready to steek. They may never want to steek. It's just out of their comfort zone. Although, I tell you what, now that I've done one, it's not scary at all, and I plan to do more. As long as you have a toothy wool, those stitches are not going anywhere. So I have a couple others that I plan to tear into. But anyway, so I thought, well, I better come up with something in this pattern where they have the option of just knitting a cardigan straight on instead of steeking a pullover. So I pulled out some of my Newteden in the color Linen, which I've used before. It's this beautiful shade here. It's probably one of my top favorite Newteden colors that she's ever released. And I found some mohair, and you're not going to be able to see it because it blended in really well with this color. But I only had one skein, so I knew I'd be playing yarn chicken. So anyway, and this is almost the same, only I did not carry it down the bottom. So anyway, once I ran out of that mohair, I went out to the dye studio with a bare skein of mohair and tried to dye it in a similar color. Unfortunately, I had not kept a sample of the mohair. I thought I had. When I went to look for it, I couldn't find it anywhere. So I was basing it on my memory, and I ended up dyeing a mohair that was way more orangey than brown. But at that point, I didn't want to go dye another skein. I'm just like, I'm just gonna go with it. This is really a practice cardigan. It's okay. And so the sleeves ended up being a completely different shade than the body. And I'm okay with it. It's okay. So Joe had an idea of, why don't you just throw in a gray stripe. This is gray, by the way. It looks blue, I know, but where the transition occurs. I'm like, that's a good idea. I think that'll look nice. I love the sleeves. I love how they go from, it's again, no decreases until the very end, and then you decrease rapidly. So I think that looks really pretty. But anyway, it's a really long story, but I started out trying to do the sleeves with one strand of Newtiden, just one strand of Newtiden, and no mohair at all. And that looked really wispy, and I didn't like the fabric at all. So then I tried 2 strands of Newtiden, and that was too bulky. It was just way too thick. So that's when I went and dyed the mohair and said, well, you're just going to have to do the 1 strand of Newtiden and the 1 strand of mohair. And that's what I ended up doing, and the material, the fabric was fantastic that way. But that was a debacle. That was really, then the color work. So I'll show you what we've got going on here. I decided to do this, throw in a color work bottom, and I wanted it to be right at the waistline, my waistline, and because I know when I do color work flat, I tend to do it a little tighter, and I knew that would cinch it in at the waist, which is exactly what I wanted. So normally when you do color work, you don't want your gauge to be different. I wanted it to be different. I wanted it to have a look, that look of being like cinched in. So let's see if you can tell. Can you sort of see what I mean there? And they're just little flowers. Try to show you. Just little flowers. But there are so many mistakes in these flowers. And if I held it up long enough for you, I'm sure you would see them. But I won't, because it's embarrassing. But how I'm looking at this particular cardigan is really just an experiment. It's wearable, although it is a bit big on me, so it's more of a size large. Oh, and I put on my own buttons. So these are my handmade buttons. I've shown you these in the past. They're really light, and I thought they matched really, really well. So, and I did also did a crochet button band on this as well. Worked out really well. So yeah, this, here I'll put it on for you. This is my Frankenstein cardigan, is what I think I'll call it, because it's a story. I haven't even told you all of the mistakes in this yet, but anyway, this is an oversized, very oversized cardigan. And again, so light and airy, which I love. And I'll show it to you. All buttoned up. Yep. So these are my 2 Newtiden sweaters. and hopefully at some point they will be a pattern. It was so much fun working with that, but so hot. Yeah, so hot. I'm pretty sure I'm going to have a lot of wool in this right now, but that's okay. This is a crochet cardigan, long, crocheted with some of my own hand-dyed yarn, which is coming up really weird on screen. You hardly see the white or the cream color, but it's really obvious on screen. So, and this is a very basic, simple design. I used a really pretty stitch in it, so I think, I'm not sure if you can make that out. Here's what I have left of this fingering weight sock yarn. I have named this the Latte Cardigan because it reminds me of a latte. And I used an eye hook. I used 3 skeins of fingering weight yarn. And it was really quick and easy. And I love the way it turned out. I think it's so cute. It's sort of like a vest. You could wear it as a vest, or I call it a cardigan, but no buttons, so it's open in the front. And again, it's long, so it goes like past my butt. And there's a split hem. And I just love it. So I plan, let me get back in the film, I do plan to also crochet a shorter version, and potentially with some sleeves, some long sleeves. This does not have a long sleeve, just a cap sleeve. And I'm not sure what color I'm going to make the next one in though, but I'm so excited to pick something. I just dyed up some yarn this week that I'll show you in a little while. But this was so much fun, and I love to crochet, and whenever I do crochet, I remember how much more forgiving it is than knitting. It's just crazy how much easier it is to tear back your work, or as far as designing, it is much easier to design a crochet project than a knitting project. So I will be looking for some testers for this. If you are interested, please reach out. I'm not sure when we're going to start, but it will probably be soon. The Latte Cardigan, coming soon. Am I done? Oh my gosh, that was so many things. Wow, that was a lot. Yeah. Let's move on to works in progress. Works in progress. And this one is being held in my beautiful Vera Bradley bag. When I get to the chatter portion of this podcast later, I will tell you about our trip to Rochester that Joe and I took back in May. And we stayed with Joe's lovely cousin Anita. Hi Anita, if you're watching. And Anita surprised me with 1, 2, 3, 4 of these beautiful, gorgeous Vera Bradley bags. And I was shocked. I couldn't believe it. But she knew that I'd want to use them for knitting. So yes, of course, that's what I'm using them for. I mean, how perfect, right? So living in this gorgeous bag is another design. I've been on a roll, guys. This time using some of my hand-dyed yarn, and for these 2 skeins, I used a dye called Greener Shades. So these are not naturally dyed, but they are dyed using dye that does not contain heavy metals and is better for the earth. And I love the color that I ended up with. It's this greeny blue with bits of gold in it. which you can see better in the project. This is how much I have left of the first skein, but it's a really intricate color and reminds me of maybe a peacock or mermaid scales. So here it is. Here's the project so far. Well, that's the fabric anyway. So don't mind the curly edges, but because that will be remedied when I do, when I knit on the border. But right now, this is how it's working up. I would say I'm about halfway finished. And this is going to be I'm not going to be able to actually show you probably, but it's going to be a smaller, what do you call it? Scarf. Shawl. Small version that you can wrap around your neck. And like I said, it's going to have a border, so it'll be obviously wider. And I think it's going to be really gorgeous. I'm so loving that stitch. It's not the easiest. The stitch itself is simple, easy to do. A little bit harder as far as your speed though, because it will, this stitch will slow you down. It's probably takes me, again, like color work, about twice as long to knit, but that's okay. I am working on it. You can see all I got done yesterday. I put the progress keeper in when I started. This was last night's TV knitting, and that's all I got finished before I petered out. So yeah, every day though I work on it just a little bit more, a few inches a day, and before I know it, I will be finished. So that I'm going to be naming the swimming hole shawl because, well, I live on a road named Swimming Hole, and we have a swimming hole that is a pretty popular tourist attraction in town, right down at the end of the road. And so I'm going to have Joe take the photos of me at the swimming hole, and I just think the colors remind me of water, and I think it's fitting. So stay tuned for that project. Yeah, I'm whizzing right through here, guys. So that was a work in progress. Here it is. That's it. So far, that's it. And the back is identical, which is really cool. And like if you open this up, it's like knitting on both sides. This is called double knitting. If you've never done double knitting, the fabric, the result is incredible. The process to get there though, not my favorite. And so I started here. This was the first sample. Isn't that neat though? Look at that. It's like, now if I wasn't using mohair, it wouldn't all be stuck together and it would actually open all the way like a tube. But it's not. You're just knitting each row back and forth. Again, another very slow stitch. Love the results, but I made another mistake just recently, and it's not the type of thing that I can fix when I make a mistake. I don't know why. I've tried and I can't. But I love the combination of, this was a yarn that I had dyed maybe with Brazil wood, maybe cochineal. This was naturally dyed sock yarn, as well as this mohair. And together, I just love this, how it sort of makes it a little brownish, because I love pinky browns, brownie pinks. But, and oh, I should show you the pattern. That would help. You don't even know what I'm making yet. So it's a free pattern that I found called Frida. It's this beautiful headband, which I started When I started making it, I cast on the number of stitches that were called for. So you can see the first one's wider. And then I cut that down because I wanted a smaller headband. And my plan for this headband was to use it for when I wash my face at night. And in the morning I was going to put it on, and then, you know, you don't get your hair all wet. So I need one. It's definitely something practical that I would use, but I've got to get through it. I'm struggling with the stitch, and if I don't pay really close attention and I make a mistake, then I feel like I'm back to the drawing board. So yeah, Frida's coming, but it'll be a while. I mentioned, so we'll do, I'll show you the yarn colors I dyed, then I want to show you some acquisitions, and we'll have some chatter because there's been a lot going on. So we'll start with the yarn. I decided to play around with my dye pots. It had been a while and I missed it, and I just wanted to see what I could come up with. So the first one is my favorite, and I actually am so delighted to be able to come up with this color. I used natural materials for this one. I used a lot of walnut and madder root, and I'm so happy with the result. It's this gorgeous copper color that, oh my goodness. Do you love it? Oh, wow. Wow. I do. I just love it. I love this color so much. So I dyed just these three, and these are 85% superwash merino, 15% nylon. Just love the way they turned out. If I were selling these, I would have named, I told Joe I would have named them Copper Penny, because I think they're the perfect copper penny. Then this time using greener shades dyes, I had tried to do a shade of green that I like, and this is what I came up with. So it's not the green I thought it would be. It is blue and green, which is really weird, but I love it. Anyway, I still think it's super pretty, and I'm not sure if it's a color that would complement me, my skin tone, but I really like it. So I don't know what it will become, but fun, fun, fun. And then the last one was a bit of a mismatch. So this is natural, this is some greener shades, this is, I don't even know what happened. When it went in, it looked like a pretty kind of a golden wheat color, and when it came out, it was all kinds of purple and blue on top. So this is what we have. It's pretty cool. It's just not at all what I expected it to be. Not at all. But yeah, I think it looks really beautiful, actually. I have no idea how it's going to look knit up, but in here are these gorgeous shades of purple. I'm guessing that my dye pot was not clean enough. I did clean it, but I obviously missed something, because the way that it took on all that other extra dye was really interesting. But, you know, you just never know what you're going to come up with. At least that's my experience with dyeing. But I think all 9 of them look really nice, and I'm happy with them. And I actually think these might go good together. Maybe. I don't know. So stay tuned for projects with these. Now for acquisitions, the first thing was a wonderful gift by my friend Marie. Marie, you're a sweetheart. She reached out to me and said she had some extra piece fleece she didn't need. Would I like it? Yes, of course I would like it. And she sent it off like immediately. It was so quick, I couldn't believe it. And look at it. Piece, please. 3 beautiful skeins. I see color work in my future. And as if that was not enough, she included an adorable little acorn for me. So, so sweet. I love it. And, yeah, I've talked about Peace Fleece before. It's a fantastic woolly wool, and it's a worsted weight, heavy worsted. I'm not sure what color this is, to be honest. Let me try and see if I can find a color. Alright. Rabbit gray. And it is 90% fine wool from Cottage Hill Farm in Ohio and the Cheyenne River Reservation in South Dakota, and 10% mohair. Worsted weight, 4 ounces, 200 yards. Rabbit gray. Then this one is, yeah, I don't see a color. It does have a dye lot, 1707, but it's basically a taupe or a lighter gray color. Very lovely. Thank you so much, Marie. What an exciting gift to get in the mail. And now I can use it. I also been wanting to order a stitch marker ever since I saw Tracy from Grizzly Knits was selling them, because she makes them just so beautiful. So I ordered one, and I was excited when it arrived all the way from Canada. And here it is. Here it is. And she uses these natural gemstones, which I think are just gorgeous. So yeah, I already thanked Tracy, but Tracy, you know how much I love this, and now I can actually use it, which I can't wait to do. I think I'm going to stick it in my project bag so that I use it today. I also ordered this dyeing journal from Amazon. It's called My Dyeing Journal. There was also one called My Knitting Journal. Oh, for indie dyers. And this is very handy. It has inside each page, you can put information on your colorway, your materials used. You can put a sample right there, any dye results, and your mordant that you used, and any notes. So I thought that that would be very, very helpful for my dyeing. So that's exciting. I'll leave a link for everything I talk about in the show notes. This is my last acquisition that I wanted to show you, and it is this cool headlamp, neck lamp actually. It's called a neck lamp, and it's perfect for knitting. It has 3 settings. What else can I say about it? It's comfortable, and when you're knitting, you can see what you're doing. It really helped me with the color work. There are 3 different types of lights on this one, as well as 3 different strengths for the light. And so yeah, you can move it any way you want. These things go, you know, they're bendable and flexible, and I highly recommend it. I picked it up on Amazon. I picked up an extra one too for a giveaway, so yeah. If you'd like to win one, I'm going to be doing a little giveaway, so. But really cool. This one has this felted area to help with comfort on the back of your neck, and this one is USB rechargeable, so no batteries to deal with, so pretty cool. LED. This is not an acquisition, but it is a future project called the Acorn Pocket Pal. Here it is. It is so cute, and this was a pay for pattern. Let's see, who is this by? Laura Loves Crochet is the name of the designer, Laura Sutcliffe. And it's just the cutest little acorn with a cover, and a baby goes inside. There's a small size and a large size, and then you can carry it along with you. And it comes with this, I'm gonna need my glasses again. It comes with this. It says, it's a nice touch to include this poem if you're making these to gift. I print the poem and include the folded piece of paper along with the pocket pal. So I printed out a couple of them. They say, I'm your little pocket pal, a friend who's always near. If you're feeling sad or blue, I'll lend a listening ear. When you cannot sleep at night and worries fill your mind, talk to me. I'll be right here, I promise. I'll be kind. Clear your thoughts, relax, be calm, just breathe and drift away. A problem shared is a problem halved, and tomorrow's a new day. So, yeah, I am going to be making these for my granddaughters. I think they will be so cute to have. So, stay tuned for that. Yeah, crochet, of course. Did I mention that? So that'll be fun. Okay, that's everything to show you. Let's chat. So if you follow me on Instagram, you already know everything going on, but we'll start with back in May. Joe took me on a trip to Rochester for Mother's Day, and we had the best time. So he had planned ahead and purchased tickets for us to go to a special Mother's Day luncheon at the Genesee Country Museum. And he knew I'd love this museum because it's all from like the colonial days, long time ago, and the entire museum is set up as a town, a real town with, you know, real buildings, and it's so historical and just so amazing to see how they lived back then. I got to see a woman weaving, I got to see someone spinning, and the highlight of the trip was I got to watch a natural dye presentation by this amazing woman, and it was just so much fun. I was in heaven. We also, that same weekend, went to Highland Park because they were having the Lilac Festival, which is a Rochester tradition. And that was beautiful. I was amazed by the number of trees that I've never seen in my life and how huge they were. I'm talking just enormous trees. So I'll try to put in some clips from that trip and those two fun adventures because we had a blast. I also went to Connecticut, and I got to have a really fun time with my daughter and two granddaughters, and that was fun. We went to like a pool party, and we just really hung around and did a lot of just visiting, and it was great. We also took the girls to a park, which was fun. And then my daughter and my son and my daughter's two girls, my two grandies, came to visit, and that was also in, was that May or June? I don't remember. I think it was May. It may have been June. Either way, we ended up going to a really fun nature. It's like, it's not a zoo, but there are animals, a lot of different wild animals, and in their natural habitats, like bear and mountain lion and all kinds of like birds, and it was so much fun. We had a great time. We had a really fun time, and I'll put some pictures in of that. If you follow me on Instagram, you will know this story, but Joe fell down the stairs. I was knitting one day and I heard him take the first step, and then I heard crack, like the loudest awful sound of a body hitting the floor that you've ever heard. By the time I got to him, which was like seconds, my knitting went flying across the room. He was unresponsive, he was purple, it looked bad. I was petrified. I called 911. Believe it or not, they were pretty quick. I would say 6 or 7 minutes, considering that we live so far away from anything. He was admitted to the hospital. He had 4 broken ribs. He had a huge contusion on his side. He had a concussion, but he was alive. So grateful. I honestly thought that was it. I was just in pure, sheer panic, terror mode. Scariest thing I've ever experienced. But came home the next day, and he's been, rehabilitating, recovering, healing ever since, and he's been in tremendous pain up until I'd say the last few days, and it happened a month ago, so it was a lot of pain. Poor guy, he's just cannot sleep. I mean, it's been rough, but we're so grateful, and we know how much worse it could have been. So yeah, you just never know, right? Count your blessings. So from that time on, we have really just been home. I've been, taking care of him, taking care of everything around the house. He can't lift or really do much of anything or drive, so summer's been a little slow because of that, a little dull, I guess, but it's okay. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Got my tickets to Rhinebeck, so we will be going in the fall. If anyone else is going, I'm going on Saturday. I think it's the 16th of October, but I don't even know. It's in my calendar, and I'm really excited. I'm really hoping you get to see some of you guys. Let me know if you're going to be there in the comments. Let's talk about the giveaway, shall we? So for this giveaway, I am going to be including a few of these large Velcro envelopes, a few of the small, and then some of these extremely sturdy page protectors for your, did you hear that? For your patterns. So that's one part of the gift from Store Smart. Thank you, Store Smart. The next part of the gift is, like I said, this neck lamp by Glockyscent, which I purchased on Amazon. And then lastly is a skein of yarn by yours truly in these beautiful colors of pink and green and cream and all kinds of goodness in there, and purples. And oh, this is 75% merino, 25% nylon, 3-ply fingering weight, 415 yards in this skein. So you could win all of these goodies just by entering this contest. So to enter, please be following me here on YouTube. And hi Mero, do you want to say hi, honey? And then we would like for you to comment below what you're doing this summer. What are you working on? What are your plans? What has been keeping you busy all summer? I just want to know. Let's talk. Yeah, and if you do that, subscribe, like the video. It's always nice. Comment. You will be entered, and the next time that I podcast, I will let you know who the winner is. So good luck, everyone.